This is part 2 of What If Luffy Was Born into the Dragon Clan. Ace would get up and yell at Luffy, "How did you hit me? And why did you hit me?" Luffy would explain what Ace just ate and how many of these fruits Luffy has consumed. Luffy would then tell Ace about what he'll be able to do with his powers and that these fruits don't have any weaknesses except if you eat any other element than your own you will die. Ace nods his head in understanding. He proceeds to ask Luffy about the fruits he consumed, but Luffy wouldn't say anything. Ace would then give up and then go back into the forest, and Garp would tell Luffy, "I have to get back to Marine's headquarters." Garp leaves and Luffy is left alone, so he decides to go exploring in the forest. Luffy is wandering through and finds 3 strange looking fruits. Luffy picks them up and starts walking again. He ends up in a strange place filled with people fighting over what looks like trash, but he continues to walk. He walks up to a man and asks him what this place is, and the man explains to Luffy about this place and says the name of it. It's called Grey Terminal. Luffy then nods his head and thanks the man for the information. He then leaves and goes into Goa Kingdom and buys a Den Mushi. Luffy would then continue to leave and go back to Dodon's place. He would then put in a number. It would start ringing. Purururu click. "Hey, it's Luffy. I would like you to come by Fuchsia. I got something you might be interested in." "Oh really? I'll stop by, but what is it?" Luffy would start speaking once again. "Come by and find out, though I doubt you'll regret it." "Alright, I'm on my way, see you soon." Click. Luffy then calls another person. Purururu click. "Hey Shanks, how much can I sell devil fruits for?" "Well, it depends on what kind of devil fruits they are." "Well, I got 3 logias, but I'm not sure what logias they are. One is blue and has what looks like whirlpools, while the second one is orange with a flame-like pattern, and the third one is a light gray with waves on it." Shanks is absolutely shocked to find out that Luffy found the Mera Mera no Mi, the Mizu Mizu no Mi, and the Kaze Kaze no Mi in the same place. Shanks would then explain what fruits Luffy found, and Luffy would confirm as those are the fruits he thought he found, but he just wasn't sure. Shanks would then tell Luffy, "If you eat the Mizu Mizu no Mi, you could probably also eat the Mera Mera no Mi, because the water-based devil fruit cancels the negative effects of water, and in fact that with the Mizu Mizu no Mi, while in water you become stronger, and you can also eat another devil fruit, but if you eat the Mera Mera no Mi after you eat the Mizu Mizu no Mi, then Luffy, you won't be able to swim anymore." Luffy nods and says, "I understand." He then hangs up and walks out. Deciding to keep the devil fruits, he walks away but ends up wandering into a cave in which on a pedestal there is a chest. Luffy walks up and opens the chest and sees a pitch black fruit. The dragons in his head warn Luffy that the fruit is tainted. Luffy then grabs it and walks over to a corner and picks up a sword that was there. He then walks out of the cave and goes back to Dodon's and hides the 3 devil fruits in his room. He then goes down the mountain to Fuchsia. Luffy would then walk into Makino's bar. About an hour later, a man in a black suit walks in. He goes up to Luffy. "It's been a while, Luffy. How have you been?" "Still not much of a talker, I see. So why did you call me here?" He then looks at the counter and sees a sword and a pitch black fruit. The man raises an eyebrow at these items and asks what this is about. Luffy then responds with, "This is one of the 10 greatest swords ever made, and this." Luffy would then point at the fruit. "The friends in my head said it's tainted." At this the man becomes excited and asks, "How much do you want for the fruit and the sword?" Luffy tells him that the fruit will cost 100 million because it's tainted by who knows what, and the sword will cost 500 million because it's one of the 10 strongest sword ever created. The man readily agrees and leaves. 10 minutes later he comes back with 600 million berries and gives them to Luffy. The man would then pick up the fruit and eat it, but suddenly cannon fire is heard and the man and Luffy see that some pirates are attacking the man's ship. He goes to take care of it, but as soon as he touches one of the pirates, the pirate falls down dead, and then they realize what tainted the fruit. Death tainted the fruit and turned it into a logia, in which this man will have shadow manipulation and can turn into a shadow, and anything he touches with his bare hands will instantly die. He would continue fighting, and when it ends, Luffy would give the man some gloves. He takes them and puts them on, and the man starts to leave, but before he goes, Luffy would say, "Pleasure doing business with you, Kazuma." Kazuma would look at Luffy and tell him that as always it's been a pleasure. Kazuma would then ask if the demonic dragon was gonna return, but Luffy would say not yet, but maybe in a few years. Now we go back to when Luffy was 10. Luffy would be wandering around the village when he would see a ship dock somewhere near the forest. Being a curious kid, he goes over to check out what's going on, and when he gets there he sees a guy who looks to be around 19 years old being beat by a man who seems to be in his early 30s. Luffy would then step in and kill the man and the rest of the people there, and he would ask the guy on the ground what his name is. The man would reply, "Kazuma, my name is Kazuma, thanks for saving me. Luffy and Kazuma would start talking with each other, and Kazuma would tell Luffy about his life and why he was getting beat, so in return Luffy tells Kazuma about his own life and they'd become friends. Kazuma would introduce Luffy to the underworld slave trade, assassination, drug trade, everything that the underworld is associated with Luffy knows about, and through this knowledge, he became known as the demonic dragon because while visiting a human trafficking center he saw some slaves that he recognized as members of the Dragon Clan, which enraged Luffy, so he proceeded to kill everyone in the area. Luffy would have hunted down and killed everyone who aided in the capture of some of his people, and after this incident anyone who stepped out of line around Luffy got killed in, which meant anyone who even touched someone from the clan got killed, and through these actions he became known as the demonic dragon because his relation to the clan was revealed, and because he is part of the Dragon Clan and the underworld saw him as a demon, so he gained the title demonic dragon. I'm gonna end this part right here. I've been working on this for about 3 hours now, so I'm probably gonna start working on the next part of what if Asta had ice magic this weekend. I have a memorial to go to tomorrow. One of my friend's mom died about a month ago and they are holding the memorial tomorrow, so this will be posted today, and the Black Clover what if will probably posted this Sunday. I will try to make these longer.